Hello, and welcome to the Women's Employment Network 35th Anniversary Celebration Kickoff. I'm Pam Breuckmann.
And I'm Jen Regas, and we're this year's co-chairs celebrating 35 years of perseverance. We're celebrating the women who continue to achieve success despite the difficulties they may face on their journey to get there.
We're celebrating the women that, despite facing a pandemic, multitasked their way through a year that put additional burdens on women, including online school, classroom monitors, daycare, and all other duties associated with a household of one or more adults and their children being home 24/7.
As you know, WEN services are needed now more than ever to assist women reaching out for our help. Usually, we'd be hosting one of the largest in-person annual fundraisers in our community and critical to WEN's mission of helping women achieve economic self-sufficiency. But despite not gathering for the second year in a row, supporters have shown us WEN's work is important to our community.
We especially want to thank our 35th anniversary co-hosts for joining Jen and I to give or to raise at least $35,000. Karen Daniel, Christine Kemper, Kim Jones, Shelly Freeman, Julie Pine, and Kelly Scanlon.
Pam and I would also like to thank our 35th anniversary Perseverance supporters, the 1010 Foundation, Ferrell Capital, Elizabeth J. and James E. Ferrell, Karen Daniel, Howerton+White, and Kim Jones and Shelly Freeman.
This year's theme is perseverance. We could not have imagined that this would mean so much to our community at this point in time, and how each of us has been impacted, and yet we're still here driving towards success. As you hear WEN's story today, please feel free to share your experience and how many years you've been associated with WEN on social media, using our hashtags 35 years, perseverance, and WEN 35th.
And now, let's turn to our history as WEN celebrates 35 years of perseverance.
There are things not fixed for women from a gender perspective in the workforce. So we will always be relevant to ensure that there's an empowerment model available, and the resources that we provide are really about empowering women to become the very best that they want to be. We provide the tools and the competence for the journey that they're on.
The founding and purpose was initiated by Marjorie seeing the 60 Minutes program, where they described how they were taking women who were on family assistance, welfare, and giving them training skills so that they could prepare for a job. Marjorie was moved by that and thought it was something we should do in Kansas City. And Marjorie and Beth were best friends, and they talked about how important it would be to help women. And Beth and Marjorie both were always for helping other women. Marjorie had a way about her that you followed her because you knew what the end game was going to be. Beth had a way about her, you followed her because she had the energy to get things done. That was kind of how we all got started, and it grew into what we know today.
When I came through WEN, I was surprised. At 1006 Grand, you walked into this great office building and you went up to the second floor, and when the doors opened, you felt like you were in a warehouse. You know, you could tell that it was created off of a shoestring, so to speak, but the energy of we want to help you, we want to make you feel welcome, was always there. You know, it was there, and you could overlook the uniqueness of your surroundings and the environment. The focus of WEN that has always been there, and that foundation that has stayed consistent, is meeting a woman where she is, helping her establish or understand where she wants to go, and then guiding and supporting her in that process.
When I think back to the beginning, it was a small, powerful group of women with brute force making it happen. The Women's Employment Network had its first luncheon in 1992. I remember that it was in the lower level of the Hyatt Regency Hotel. We all participated in these handmade hearts that we put on the wall. I certainly have never forgotten that one. And it just grew from there. Marjorie. Her passing, it was sad. We missed her heart, her mind, but she had put together a good team. It inspired us to keep it going. I mean, that's what Marjorie would want, and that's what we did.
So in the early days of WEN, the program was 3 weeks. We came to realize as we moved forward and we began to get more women in the program that we needed to have a time to spend some direct time with them one-on-one at the beginning. And so in the mid-90s, we went to 5 weeks. So we had that week at the beginning, the structured training in the middle, and then the 5th week was a structured job search. In the late 90s, we began to see women who were coming out of the workplace because they wanted a career change. You know, I've been doing this for 25 years, now I want to do something different, but I don't know what that is. And at that point, we realized that we needed to look at our foundation differently. So a woman could come in and be assessed and then determine what her needs were. Based on that, she could choose what track she wanted to go into.
When I took the role of executive director of the Women's Business Center, a former executive director of the Women's Employment Network was working there. So I had the privilege of working with Lee Klein. She turned me on to WEN, really through the Women's Business Center work that we were doing together. It made sense that we would do it together. And that's when, in 2009, when WEN was in need of an executive director at that time, that's when I took the role of president of WEN, but remained as executive director of the Women's Business Center. And in doing so then, we were very intentional about drawing the parallels to what does financial self-sufficiency look like for women, and shouldn't women have really more to look at in terms of options for financial self-sufficiency?
The 1KC for Women Alliance made sense at the time that it came together because we had several organizations that provided a piece of the puzzle for the women, and this provided an easy alliance for the women to come to one place and be referred to someone else or another organization within the alliance.
Our first job fair was in 2009. It was at the Mulebach. We started heading up there around 11 o'clock just to make sure everything was set. And there were people in line down Baltimore and down the street. That was how bad the market was at that time. And once we opened the doors, it was nonstop traffic. And a lot of people were able to get jobs.
I had always heard about WEN, and in particular their suit closet, and then in 2010 had an opportunity to go to their luncheon and met Lynette, and within a month I was volunteering. Around the time that I began volunteering, there started to be a shift in the clientele demographic. Initially, WEN had been focused on helping women who were chronically unemployed or underemployed. However, right about that time was after that first recession had hit, and we were starting to see women from all walks of life, some still underemployed, some still unemployed, but some who had just been hit by life. One of the most impressive things that WEN has done is adapt to the changing world. Around the 2012-2013 timeframe, WEN introduced a brand new program, which was their financial coaching and financial literacy workshops. And that had a tremendous difference in the lives of the women because it not only set them up for how to handle their finances while they were going through the program, but it set them up for thinking about how will they handle their finances after they are employed. And that was just a seismic shift. One of the most exciting things that happened during my tenure on the board was when Sherry brought to us the opportunity to move into our own standalone building.
The great thing about this new space is that it's 3 floors. Now we're able to do a financial coaching training down on the first floor, and then we can also still have mock interviewing and other trainings going on the second and third floor, so we can really support a lot more WEN clients at the same time with the space.
We moved into the WEN building in December of 2019. We had our open house in February of 2020. And in March of 2020, everything came to a standstill.
COVID has certainly challenged us. Our staff rose to the occasion, and we very quickly provided a digital deliverable to be able to really not miss a beat. The issues of childcare, transportation, those barriers that WEN has seen since 1986 now seem even more relevant because of a pandemic. So the fact that it hasn't changed and now may even be in a worse decline over the next several months, if not years, is really the reason why we'll be around for another 35 years, most likely.
35 years, in my mind, means Marjorie and Beth got it right from the beginning. And it was for all of the right reasons. If you just look at the sheer numbers of women who have gone through the program and think about the ripple effect of those women and how they have impacted other people's lives. For 2 women to persevere through starting a program such as the Women's Employment Network, and for all of us to look back and say 35 years, we should all thank our founders. I think Marjorie and Beth, looking at the Women's Employment Network today, would say, well done, but your work isn't done. There are more people who need our help.
Without this program, I don't think I'd be where I am today.
I am very grateful for WEN giving me back my confidence.
It is just an absolute wonderful program.
They taught me how to bring the beauty of me out.
WEN gave me my confidence back. I got a family, friends, a support system for a lifetime.
It was life-changing. I wouldn't have done those things if I hadn't come here.
Before we part, I would like to say how much it has been a privilege to be part of the Women's Employment Network all these years, and to realize that we have been able to affect the lives of women and children and the community. I'd like to invite you to have that privilege too, by lending your support in every way that you can to the Women's Employment Network as it goes forward into the future.
Despite the successes over the past 35 years, WEN still faces challenges ahead. Women lost their jobs in record numbers in 2020. In fact, in December 2020, all 140,000 jobs lost by the U.S. economy were held by women.
WEN plans to be with these women as they regain their confidence, find their footing, and get back out in the workforce. It won't be easy. It never is. And after 35 years, WEN knows this to be true. If a woman reaches out for help, WEN will provide the tools, resources, and network to ensure her success. WEN is with her every step of the way.
And so are each and every one of you. Without your generous support, WEN would be unable to help so many women who need us now, more than ever. We are so thankful to each of you who have joined us today. Your commitment to this organization is truly amazing.
Thank you to those who have already given or are planning to give today. Year over year, you continue to give of yourselves to help WEN clients. We especially want to thank our 35th anniversary co-hosts for joining Pam and I to give or raise at least $35,000.
In addition, Jen and I would also like to thank our other 35th anniversary supporters.
If you are still looking for ways to contribute to WEN's success, text KCWEN to 243725 to donate, or you can go online at kcwen.org/donate. You can also join WEN Legacy Circle at kcwen.org/legacy, or you can send a check to Women's Employment Network at 4328 Madison Avenue, KCMO 64111.
Think about what kind of commitment you can make today. Whether it's $35, $50, $100, or $1,000, your gift will impact women right here in the Kansas City Metro. Together we will show Kansas City what perseverance looks like for women in our community.
Once again, thank you for being a part of WEN's history and its future. Post comments, shout out to WEN clients, our supporters, your employers, and coworkers. Share this video and your stories about WEN on social media using hashtags 35 years, perseverance, and WEN 35th.
Thank you for joining us today.